mentor teachers when they're, with everything they've got going on, they probably won't be able to give the same direction that they gave to our practicum students in the past. And that's no slight on them. Lord knows they're dealing with a lot. But we wanted to make sure all those outcomes were met and in a safe way. So there will be an email that comes out saying, here's what's going on. If you want to appeal for a face-to-face, please fill out this form by, I think it's going to be August 10th. But so we expect to get that.
And it'll come from Kara Dubé probably.
Yes.
As she's kind of figured out all your placements thus far. Again, it's a new wrench in the works, but I think it is what it is. If anything, it's helping us show our resiliency as a profession, right? And resiliency as teachers. It's something that I have never seen in my lifetime, and I, quite frankly, never wish to see it again. But in the meantime, we want to do what we can to make sure we're still providing trained teachers. Mount St. Joseph has such a good reputation in the education field around here. And I know that from knowing administrators in the various school districts that they love getting MSJ prepared teachers. So we're not going to short shrift anybody on that. We want that to continue on for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do have to give, I think this is a good time to just, really give a shout out to Harrison and Kara for their work last year on reacting quickly to the pandemic. And while the assignments will be different this time because we have time to design them, they quickly came up with a plan that worked. And what we heard from others at other institutions, we're on listservs and all this kind of thing. A lot of them weren't able to do that. And part of it is because we're small but mighty, and sometimes when you're small, if you're a small boat, you can turn the ship a little faster. So those things just really left, I think, our students being able to complete their work and not feel like their work was in jeopardy, or their hours they put in and things like that. So, but they've been working hard all summer, and I think you guys are going to have some great experiences. Again, if you feel like you really need to appeal, there is a process to do that. So, yeah. So, and then for student teaching, did you talk about student teaching yet, Harrison? Because these meetings are running together. We have 4 today, so.
Yes, no, I mentioned that for student teaching, because this is kind of like the last chance, right? Our intention is that you be appended to the district and you'll follow whatever the district does, whether that's a virtual, working with students or in class working with students. Again, every district is different, and that has made it so difficult for us to figure out. Yeah. Right. So, and then again, for people who feel strongly like, I hear what you're saying and I know, but I'm just a little fearful about doing that because of my health, then that's when you sign that kind of petition appeal, and then we figure something else out.
Right. So if someone's going to be student teaching this fall and we tell them, oh, we need you to work with this district and you might be face-to-face sometimes or all the time, they also will have a mechanism to appeal that and ask for an alternate or virtual kind of assignment for student teaching.
Yeah,
so,
and of course it would be in more depth because it's a 15-week placement, not 50 hours, right? So it's going to be more in depth, but we're willing to work with the student teachers for that if they need that.
Yeah.
Hey, Laura, can I interject for a second?
Sure.
I'm looking at all of your faces, and I know a lot of you from classes, and I see some sad faces, and I know how amazing you were working with kids last year, like truly. And this makes me sad for you and for us in terms of where we're at, to be honest with you. But I just want to put this in the context of thinking back to, a good month ago when the university made the decision to go remote. I kind of had probably a lot of the same reaction you're having right now, this kind of angsty feeling of like, I hate this. I just want to be back with you guys and in the classroom, and I'm not happy about this decision. And I understand there's no good decision right now. Like, that's the reality we're living. This is all due to circumstances outside of our control. And it's about choosing the best options of those we have available to us. Give yourself a meditative moment, take a little bit to think about this and see where you land, because I will tell you, over the course of the last month, as I've really come into this, I've been so appreciative of the decisions Mount St. Joe made, and made early, around thinking about the welfare of all of us as a community. And what that has allowed me to do is know the stability of my decision and how to better plan for you guys in terms of teaching. And that's what's this is going to allow you to do. Like, I'm making a lot of associations here, and I'm listening to Laura and Harrison talk about this for the first time too. I'm thinking, you know, as you think about this, it allows you a different level of stability that not everybody has. And I am surrounded by teachers, from my husband to all of my friends, who are struggling so much right now because of, as Harrison pointed out, CPS and everyone else is bouncing around in terms of what they're going to do. They don't know whether to be planning lessons face-to-face, remotely, blended, all of the above. It is really chaotic right now in the schools, to be honest with you. And so as much as it kind of hurts right now to hear, like, I want to be in doing lessons with kids. That's what I'm good at. That's what I thrive on. And that's what fills my bucket. And I completely and totally get that, because as professors, we're feeling it from our end too. I just, you know, would ask you to take a moment of grace and think about how this does at least allow you an opportunity to get the experiences you need, even if they're not ideal. And I know it wasn't ideal in assessment when I had people assessing each other instead of kids, you know, and family members. But we found a way to make it work. And I think there's value in having the stability now to know there is a plan that's going to allow you to get through this with a degree of stability and safety. And we already know what that is. And I just think that's huge. So I'm sorry to see sad faces, and I'm feeling it for you. But I just wanted to kind of put that in the context of where I was a month ago. And hopefully that helps maybe frame it a little bit.
Thank you, Wendy. That's so well said, and so true. And we've all had a little more time to absorb this than you all are having, certainly. But when we realize that, you know, those of you who are with young children, for instance, that you would, you know, instead of working with kindergartners or first graders the way that you think of, everybody would have a mask on, everybody would be 6 feet away. They're going to have to be required to stay at their desk station the entire day. You know, there won't be any small group work. Any one-on work you would do with them would be from a distance. You know, it just is, it's not going to, I think you're going to have a better you know, the outcomes will be better met this way, but it is a loss. It is a loss for sure. But a necessary one with the pandemic. But we can, you know, if you sit on this and you really feel like you need to appeal it, we will support you, and we'll do our best to find a space for you that will be really high quality. So if you do, you know, as we're talking about, and you don't do the appeal, we're also going to make sure that this experience is a high quality one for you, and one that is enjoyable. And I do see Danielle has a question, and I think, Danielle, we might have to work with you on that one independently, just because that might be a unique situation. And I'm reading, Megan says, can we? Yes. Okay, so I see some questions and things about, like, boy, I really want to try this and that kind of thing. And what I'll ask for you to do is to email Kara and myself and Harrison, if you'd like, independently, and we'll work with you. I mean, especially if you already, you know, feel like you have a connection somewhere or something that you know, we have people who are paras for CPS, for instance, things like that. So we do know that there's going to be instances where things might look a little different. We're just talking more in generalities right now. The good news is that most of you have at least 3 practicums before you go to student teaching. We're also going to take this opportunity in our school. You'll have exposure to more and more technology and different frameworks to use. I think, Wendy, can you help me remember some of the names of the tech? And Megan, you also, I know, have done a lot with the work that we did on new technology for teachers. What were some of the ones that were really highlights for you?
I've been playing around with Padlet and Quizlet and Loom, Kahoot. I don't know what I'm going to end up using, so no promises on any of these, but just trying to look at different tools that are out there. I didn't get to as many as I wanted, Laura. Now I feel put on the spot.
No worries. Megan, I know you got to a few as well.
Yeah, I've been using Padlet also, and Kahoot, and a whole bunch of Chrome extensions. I've really gotten into all these different Chrome extensions that do cool things, and Screencastify. Yeah, I've been playing with a lot of cool tools.
So yes, so you guys will be exposed to a lot more educational technology. We're no longer going to rely on Dr. Bindus to carry the load by himself anymore. So I'll now have partners in crime. But yeah, so that's where we are with field experiences, and we really hope that it will be different in the spring. And that even if we still have the pandemic, at least teachers will be in a place, our mentor teachers will be in a place where they can really take on either virtual practicum students or face-to-face practicum students. That remains to be seen right now. So, we're working semester by semester right now, right? Thank you for, being understanding. And of course, if you feel like this is something you need to talk about, reach out to your advisor, reach out to me, to Harrison, to Kara, any of us, to talk through it, and we'll get there together.
Laura, I just want to say, I think Danielle was talking about service learning and not practicum.
Oh, will you address service learning for us, Cindy?
Yeah, so service learning, for those of you who took an incomplete on that last semester, we are setting up some virtual tutoring opportunities, so you can definitely take advantage of those. And we're also going to be doing that. I don't think there's anyone on here that needs it for next semester full time, but that's how we're going to handle it for the semester, and possibly next semester if we need to. Hopefully not. Fingers crossed, prayers to the Lord. So let's hope we have a handle on some of this. But so Danielle, yes, you will have the opportunity to do some virtual tutoring at the very least. And Emily, I think you finished yours, right? So you're good. Okay. Anne Marie might have taken an incomplete as well. So anyway, that's where we are with service learning.
Thank you. Thank you for bringing that up. I appreciate it very much. Looking at our little list here, and the next section was introducing the new faculty members, but obviously we already did that. I think most of that's, we'll have a couple of new people in reading science right now, because reading science, so we've got a little news to share with you, some updates from the School of Education. So many of you know that our reading science department, that our reading courses are very well established, very well known, excellent. We've had a couple of really exciting things happen. One of them is that we received an A+ rating from the National Council on Teacher Quality for our reading courses and our reading preparation, which is awesome, right? What makes it even more awesome is only 18 universities in the entire country received that A+ designation. So when it comes to preparing you for reading and teaching reading, no matter what age group you have, you can know that you're in one of the top 18 schools for that in the country, which is just huge bragging rights for us, right? So that's some really good news. We also found out that we currently have a master's in reading science, which many of our students go on to do. But we also have been approved by our governing agency to begin a doctoral program in May. So our very first doctoral program in the School of Education at Mount St. Joseph University, and that doctoral program will be in reading science.